Visión comunal, en contacto con las comunidades.
Venezuela in the news. News from the Bolivarian Republic of Venezuela.
Headlines. OPEC and non-OPEC countries will enter today into important agreements. The OPEC acknowledged that Venezuela had influence on the decision of cutting production. Venezuelans mobilized today in favor and against the government. The Organization of Petroleum Exporting Countries and external producers like Russia will determine today a series of policies that will allow to stabilize the oil market. Representing Venezuela, country with the largest certified resources of the planet, Minister Eulogio del Pino will attend the meeting. In the encounter, they will address the implementation of cuts and freezing production agreed by the OPEC at the end of September in Algeria. The main subject will be the incorporation of the producing countries from outside the bloc into the decision agreed by the OPEC of limiting the extraction of crude oil. The Russian Minister of Energy, Alexander Novak, indicated that Moscow was willing to join the freezing of oil production. The Venezuelan President Nicolás Maduro held yesterday a meeting with the Secretary General of the Organization of Petroleum Exporting Countries, Mohamed Barkindo, during the World Energy Congress that takes place in Turkey and will end tomorrow. Caracas did not specify details of the conversation between Maduro and Barkindo. A report issued by the Ministry of Communications stated that Barkindo had acknowledged the influence of the Venezuelan government and its president Nicolás Maduro on the decisions agreed by the OPEC in Algeria. The OPEC agreed to cut its daily production, which goes over 33 million barrels and represents a little bit more than 30% of what is required to cover the world demand. The Venezuelan opposition announced that it will deploy today in more than 1,000 points of the country, preparing themselves for the recollection of signatures from the 26th to the 28th of this month, when they request the activation of a recall referendum against President Nicolás Maduro. The Venezuelan authorities will increase the security measures to prevent any violent action intended by ultra-conservative groups. The opposition must collect more than 3.8 million signatures, an amount that will be counted and verified by electoral authorities. Between November 28 and 29, the Venezuelan electoral power will announce whether or not the referendum will proceed. Today, in different parts of the country, sectors that support the government will also mobilize to guarantee peace in the country. This will be the third occasion on which, in a bit more than a month, the government and opposition march at the same time.
Venezuela in the news.
The Venezuelan authorities announced yesterday the deployment of special procedures of security in the states of Guárico, Aragua, Carabobo, and Miranda. The plan, referred to as the Liberation of the People Operation, has been applied for more than a year throughout the national territory. But now a new phase will be implemented in accordance with a report issued by the Ministry of Interior and Justice. In the state of Miranda on Monday, more than 1,200 security officers were deployed from different police forces. Through one of the special procedures, the authorities have dismantled more than 150 organized criminal groups. The Venezuelan women's football team will face today its counterpart from Mexico, seeking the position to move to the semifinals of the Under-17 World Cup that takes place in Jordan. Venezuela arrived at the match after beating Canada with 2-0 and standing on the second place of the Group B. Previously, the Vino Tinto had lost against Germany 1-2 and beat Cameroon 2-1. Mexico arrives undefeated as leader of the Group A with 7 points after beating New Zealand 5-0, Jordan 4-1, and tying up with Spain 1-1. The Mexican team also arrives as the second best offensive team in the phase of groups with 10 goals, only topped by Japan with 13. The match will begin at 9 a.m. Caracas time.
News from the Bolivarian Republic of Venezuela.
Headlines. OPEC and non-OPEC countries will enter today into important agreements. The OPEC acknowledged that Venezuela had influence on the decision of cutting production. Venezuelans mobilized today in favor and against the government.
Venezuela in the news. News from the Bolivarian Republic of Venezuela.
Visión comunal, en contacto con las comunidades.